Author's POV. The city awoke with the first rays of dawn, its streets buzzing with the rhythm of urban life. Amidst the hustle and bustle, tucked away in a quaint corner, stood Brood Bliss, a haven where the intoxicating scent of freshly ground coffee lingered in the air like a comforting embrace. At the heart of this aromatic sanctuary was Yn, a woman with a smile as vibrant as the sunrise and a wit as sharp as the espresso she expertly brewed. Yn, a vivacious and independent 24-year-old spirit, started each day with a smile. She stepped into her cozy haven, Brood Bliss, nestled in the heart of the bustling city. The aroma of freshly ground coffee beans greeted her, mixing with the low hum of conversations and the soft melody playing in the background. She chipped in happiness as she said, "Good morning, caffeine enthusiasts. Who's ready for a cup of liquid motivation?" The staff smiled too and greeted her too. Amidst the rhythmic hum of espresso machines and the gentle buzz of conversations, Yn's banter was the secret ingredient that made her coffee shop a daily ritual for many. Regulars reveled in her quick wit as much as the robust coffee she served. As she expertly steamed milk for a latte, she noticed a newcomer, his eyes wide with intrigue. The person came inside as Yn greeted him and said, "Good morning, sunshine. What can I brew up to make your day extraordinary?" Yn greeted with an infectious enthusiasm that seemed to brighten the room. Tarhyung, amused by Yn's lively welcome, couldn't help but smile. "I'll take a double shot espresso, please. Feeling like I need a jolt of energy today." Yn, behind the counter with a mischievous twinkle in her eye, greeted him with a playful remark about his choice of a double shot espresso. She leaned in with a conspiratorial grin and said, "Ah, the classic pick-me-up. You've come to the right place. Double shot it is. What's the adventure that requires such an energetic start? Feeling daring today?" Tarhyung chuckled, appreciating the unexpected banter. "Well, why not start the day with a jolt, right?" Yn's eyes sparkled with mischief as she said, "Well, you've stumbled upon the right spot for a good start. Who knows, maybe today is the day you discover the city's best-kept secrets." With the remark, she went to the banter and made his espresso with 2 shots. As Yn expertly prepared the double-shot espresso, Tarhyung couldn't help but admire the rhythmic dance of her hands. The air between them crackled with a delightful tension and energy that seemed to transcend the usual customer-barista dynamic. Yn handed him his espresso with a flourish. "Here's to making Monday mornings more exciting." Tarhyung smiled again, took his espresso, and savored it with full anticipation. Tarhyung, the charismatic entrepreneur, found himself captivated not only by the bold flavors of his double-shot espresso but also by the vibrant energy of Yn. Intrigued, he decided to linger a while, opting for a seat by the window with a perfect view of the city's morning hustle. Yn, always attentive to her customers, noticed his choice and couldn't resist seizing the opportunity for more banter. As she approached his table with a warm latte for herself, Yn flashed a teasing grin. "So, Mr. Doubleshot, what brings you to Brood Bliss today? Seeking inspiration for your next big venture?" Tarhyung laughed, charmed by Yn's playful spirit. "You caught me. I heard this place was a haven for creative minds, and I'm in the market for some entrepreneurial inspiration." Yn took a seat across from him, her latte cradled in her hands. "Well, you've come to the right place. Brood Bliss has witnessed the birth of many brilliant ideas, mostly fueled by caffeine, of course." Tarhyung laughed again, and he didn't even know how many times he had laughed today, but he was feeling happy. More than happy. The atmosphere was charged with the delightful energy of their banter, each sentence an effortless exchange that hinted at a growing connection. As they both sat quietly, a curiosity came inside Tarhyung and he asked, "Well, we are now talking to each other. Why not you tell me your name, Miss Barista?" he asked as she slapped her forehead, shook her head, and said, "Oh gosh. So silly of me, I forgot to introduce myself. Anyways, hi, this is Yn, Yn, and I am 24 years old, and this is my small haven called Brood Bliss." Tarhyung smiled at her enthusiastic voice and said, "Interesting." Yn squinted her eyes and said, "This is not fair, Mr. Double Espresso. Will you not introduce me to yourself?" Tarhyung chuckled again, took a sip of his espresso, and said, "Why not? Well, this is Tarhyung, and I am a small entrepreneur around the next street." Yn made an O face as she continued her conversation and asked, "What do you deal with in your business?" Tarhyung made a thinking face and said, "Probably I am into adventurous things. Seeking new adventures and all." Her hazel eyes alight with curiosity, leaned against the counter and asked, "So, Tarhyung, what's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?" Taeyoung's eyes glinting with a mix of mischief and genuine enthusiasm, leaned in as if sharing a secret and said, "Once, I sailed solo across the Mediterranean. It was just me, the sea, and a boat named Wanderlust." Yn's eyebrows shot up in mock astonishment and said, "Solo? You and the sea, dancing under the Mediterranean sun? That's not adventurous, that's practically poetry." Taeyoung grinned, enjoying the banter, and said, "Well, I believe life should be a bit poetic, don't you?" Yn's laughter echoed through the cozy space as she said, "Absolutely. But tell me, Captain Kim, what brought you from the open sea to the city streets?" Taeyoung took a thoughtful sip of his coffee, his gaze lingering on Yn, which made Yn blush, and it was evident to Taeyoung. He chuckled as he said, "Sometimes, even the most adventurous souls need a break from the sea. I heard this place was a hub of creativity, and I thought, why not trade the waves for the vibrant pulse of the city?" Though she was blushing, still she tried to be playful as she nodded, a playful glint in her eyes. "Trading waves for city vibes, I like that. Welcome to the urban adventure, Captain." They both fell silent, and it was not an awkward silence, a peaceful and comfortable silence, but Yn tried to break it as her hazel eyes reflected the soft glow, leaned in slightly, her tone dipped in sincerity as she said, "You know, Taeyoung, there's something magical about the way a city breathes in the evening. It's like each street carries its own whispered love story." Taeyoung, captivated by Yn's poetic observation, replied, "I couldn't agree more. And speaking of love stories, do you have a favorite romantic movie or novel?" Yn's gaze met his, and a playful smile graced her lips. "Ah, the timeless question. If I had to choose, I'd say it's the ones that blend humor with romance, the kind that makes you laugh and feel your heart flutter at the same time." Taeyoung chuckled after listening to her and said, "So, you're a fan of the rom-com?" Yn nodded, her eyes glinting mischievously. "Absolutely. Laughter and love, it's a perfect combination." The air around them seemed to shimmer with a newfound awareness, a shared acknowledgement that their connection was evolving into something deeper. The soft jazz melody playing in the background became the soundtrack to a moment pregnant with unspoken sentiments. Taehyung's gaze lingered on Yn's face, took a sip of his coffee before breaking the tender silence. "You know, Yn, I feel like we've stumbled upon our own little love story in this cozy corner of the city." Yn's breath caught for a moment, her heart echoing the sentiment. "Maybe we have," she replied, her voice a gentle whisper with a hint of blush. Taeyoung smiled softly as he looked downwards, trying to control his beating heart. As the evening unfolded, they continued to exchange glances filled with unspoken words, each moment charged with a quiet intensity. The coffee shop, with its comforting aroma and the distant hum of conversations, became the backdrop to a subtle dance between two souls discovering the nuances of a connection that felt both familiar and brand new. The city outside, with its twinkling lights and the murmur of life, seemed to cocoon Yn and Tarhyung in a world of their own, a world where laughter blended with a tender romantic symphony. Little did they know, within the confines of Brood Bliss, a love story was brewing, one that promised to be as rich and nuanced as the coffee they savored together in that intimate corner of the city.